very different than me in real life.
Sure.
Guys, we have a good show lined up for you. John McAllister is in the house. This is a new friend of mine who I think is a super cool dude. We have a lot in common, and this gentleman has got some entrepreneur to him, an executive producer, and I'll say this, John, just an all around nice dude. You'll meet John McAllister here in a matter of moments when we start today's program. Give the show a like and a share anywhere you guys are watching. Chris Gallagher, welcome to the program. Thank you for liking the show. Tracy Lochner, hello in Richmond, Virginia. Thank you for liking the show. Lisa Anderson is watching on our heat map in Nashville, Tennessee. Hello, Nashville. A lot of UVA alum in Nashville. We love when you guys watch the program. Lindsay Falansky, welcome to the program outside Asheville, North Carolina. Hello, hello, hello. Christy Durant, watching the program in Nevada. Give the show, guys, a like and a share anywhere you're watching. John McAllister is in the house, documentarian, executive producer, racket sports aficionado, foodie, evangelist of Charlottesville, lover of life. I think those are all apt, right? I'd say those are good descriptions, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, stylish guy. Twitter, jump in the mix here. If you want to give John some props, put it in the feed. Give me a DM or retweet, and we'll give some props to Johnny Mack here on the program here. I'm hoping we get a little Terry Hildenbrand sighting on today's program. Did I say his last name right, John?
Terry Hildenbrand.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure that I've heard Terry say his last name too many times.
Terry H., hell of a squash player. Judah Wickower, We Can Rock and Roll, as I see on our heat map. 5 states on the program. We're in your hands, J-Dubs. Good Wednesday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille show. Thank you so much for joining us. We are live in Charlottesville, across the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille network. It's the day before Thanksgiving, a glorious day to be alive with so much to be grateful and thankful for. Guys, if you watch the program, you realize I have a zest for life, and my favorite aspect of the work that I do, of the businesses that we run, is this right here. Connecting with you, the viewers and listeners, and spotlighting just A-plus people. And our guest today embodies that quality and that line undoubtedly. John McAllister is going to join us in T-minus 30 seconds. This guy's in the movie game. He's a documentarian, an executive producer. This guy's got a background in finance. Now, this guy is just a solid dude. Met him about a month and change ago, and I'm excited to continue hanging with him and introduce you to a movie that he has coming out, or that's already been released, called Double Dummy. He's also a podcaster. This guy is so passionate about the game of bridge that he invested time, money, strategic partnerships, sweat equity, labor of love into about an hour-long film that is focused on getting the next generation of players passionate about the sport, just like Johnny Mack is passionate about the sport. Before we welcome him to the show, we'll thank Ting Fiber Internet for being the crazy fast internet behind the I Love CVille network. It's Ting Fiber Internet. Of course, Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine, a partner of today's show. IMBS Medical Billing Services, our friends at the Boar's Head. Skooma Boutique Dispensary is a partner of the I Love CVille network. The best dispensary in Charlottesville is on the downtown mall next to Rapture. Judah Wickower is our director of Savannah College of Art and Design graduate, and someone I call family. Almost 10 years of working alongside each other. If we can go to the studio camera, J-Dubs, and let's welcome the dapper and distinguished Johnny Mack to the show. John McAllister, how are you?
Jerry, I am very happy to have this opportunity to be here with you today. It has been a pleasure meeting you at the MacArthur Center squash courts recently, and you want to take my title Not that I'm the best squash player there by any stretch of the imagination, but there's a lot of competition on the squash courts between the two of us. We played last night. It was the middle segment of your 5-hour squash odyssey.
That's true.
I got you. I got you a couple. I won a few more than you did.
He did. That's absolutely fair. The Jerry that he sees now is very different than the Jerry that he sees on the squash court. Competitiveness is a understatement. But just like him, I mean, this guy's super competitive. We'll get into the movie. We'll get into the passions and hobbies that make you tick. How long have you been in Charlottesville? What's the ties to the community, John?
So, Jerry, I grew up in Charlottesville. My mom was actually born here, and my dad went to UVA. So he was from Philadelphia, which is where I was born, but we moved back to Charlottesville when I was 4 years old, and I've lived here. I went to UVA. I've lived here since 2001, continuously.
What's this community mean to you, man?
What's this community mean to you?
You love it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I like the name of your show is I Love Seville, and 100% right here. I like that you called me an evangelist for Charlottesville. I think sometimes I question whether or not I want to be an evangelist for bridge. And so I've never heard myself called an evangelist for Charlottesville, but I like that title that you bestowed upon me.
Marcella Fauché, welcome to the program. Thank you for watching the program. We got upstate New York in the house, our friends in Buckhead outside of Atlanta watching the show. 6 states on the program. We got some folks in India on the heat map right here, which I think is Johnny Mac's influence right now. If you want to give this guy some props, put it in the comment section, and I will relay your positive praise to Johnny Mac live on air, or hit me up with a DM, a tweet, or any kind of text message, and we'll relay it on air. All right, let's get into the movie. The movie is called Double Dummy. It is a documentary. This guy, John McAllister, is so passionate about the game of bridge that he's invested time, years, money, vision, partnerships with friends. I think Derek Sieg, part of the program as well. Sweat equity. Talk to us about Double Dummy, the movie.
So we're coming to you right now from, and hi Marcella Fauché, flattered that you're watching. So we're coming to you from across the street from the Enterprise Center, which is where I worked for 7.5 years for a company called Quantitative Investment Management. I had the good fortune of working there. It was a great job. I learned a lot. I have a lot of friends from that time. And on my last day there, I went to my first North American Bridge Championship.
Really?
And there was a brainstorming session one night with a free dinner about how do we get more young people interested in learning bridge. And I just quit my job at QIM. I needed a new challenge, and it really spoke to me. And so I came back to Charlottesville, and I had dinner with Derek Sieg, who you mentioned, and Jeremy Goldstein, who were both making films at the time. And Jeremy, the first thing he said was, "We think you're the only person we know that plays bridge." And I'd just been to this brainstorming session, and one of the facts that they stated at this session was that the average age of people who are members of the American Contract Bridge League was 67 years old. And Jeremy said, "That sounds like a documentary movie." And literally that was like the switch.
So how did you get into bridge? And Stephanie Scott's giving you props from Dallas, Texas. Right now, if you want to get some time words to Johnny Mac, put it in the feed in the comment section. Dude, so I read, I took like a deep dive online. So first I met you at the squash courts. I'm like, this guy's a cool guy. He likes UVA sports. And then you mentioned in passing, in very unassuming fashion, that you were a filmmaker. And then I'm like, oh, that's cool. You don't meet a lot of filmmakers. And then next thing I know, I'm watching this and I mentioned this to you, I'm watching this live YouTube podcast with an expert bridge player who brought you in, and I'm using the Cliff Notes here. And I'm like, this is cool. And then I do a little more research on you. And was it your aunt that got you into bridge. You guys wanted to play hearts at a family outing, and she's like, nah, dog. Bridge is a much more dynamic game than hearts. Is that pretty much what it was?
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So tell us about why you love this card game.
So I resisted my Aunt Kathleen's suggestion to play bridge at first, and she was like 100% right, because I just became instantly fascinated by bridge. And actually, so I was a freshman at UVA when that happened. And for like the first 5-6 years of my bridge playing career, I just played at home with my family, like when I was home, because I didn't know that there were other outlets for it. And then I had a local woman. I was in her bridge class, and then she took me to the local bridge club, and it was just like, I couldn't believe that there was like a local bridge club. I mean, that was such a oasis for me.
Where is the local bridge club?
So they just started having games again after, like so they moved online because of COVID, and then they just started having in-person games again in November, and currently they've been meeting at the fire station banquet space at Glenmore.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So you're getting props from a lot of people. Heather Sanderson Bakshi is watching the program.
Bakshi.
Yeah, and she says, great documentary, John. She's watching on the Double Dummy page. Guys, we are literally live on every social media platform known to mankind. So if you want to give this guy some props, just put it in the feed. So why do you think why do you think the card game?
Mind sport. We call it mind sport.
Mind sport. Why is this mind sport trending older in age? And besides this phenomenal flick, Double Dummy, what do we need to do to get a new generation of players involved that will, frankly speaking, keep the legacy of the mind sport alive? Because I would say it's in a precarious position right now. Is that accurate?
I mean, I think I have a podcast where I interview bridge players, and we did a series where we interviewed the youngest ever Life Masters, which is a designation that a lot of bridge players target as for doing well in events. And one of the guests, who was the youngest Life Master, said when he was playing bridge as a 12-year-old in New York City, he was the only child. So there's actually a lot more young people playing bridge now than there were 30 years ago. The problem is that it just didn't get passed down. The generation, my generation, and my parents' generation. My parents' generation, my mom had played bridge, but it just I don't really know. But I don't think.
Is it the influence of video games?
I mean, I think it's television. I think video games play a role. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because, when you and I were growing up, we're relatively the same age, okay? Yeah. And is it Thu Tran Greenberg watching the program in San Francisco, California right now? Giving you some props. So you have 9 states watching John McAllister right now on the I Love CVille show. When you and I were growing up, I don't know what your childhood or adolescence was like. My parents, because my brother and I, relatively the same age, we drove my parents so freaking crazy. I mean, you see how high energy I am now. Imagine when I was 9, okay? They're like, here's a soccer ball, a basketball, a couple of tennis rackets, a football, get the hell out of the house and just go in the front yard and don't come back until dinner time. Don't come inside. Now it's kids, I literally see my 3.5-year-old take our iPhone and be hypnotized and mesmerized for hours to the point where I have to take it out of his hands and he freaks the hell out. Do you think it's these screens that are just corrupting the next generation's mind and keep them from doing other things?
Well, I like to say that bridge, the game moved online because of COVID, and there were a lot of positive developments in bridge and the teaching of bridge because of COVID. And so I like to say bridge is a game that we can use screens to go beyond screens.
Oh.
So you can learn bridge on your phone. You can play bridge. I play bridge on my phone all the time.
Okay.
But then there's a whole community. I'm going to Austin, Texas on Thursday, tomorrow, because the North American Bridge Championships the Fall North American Bridge Championships are taking place starting the day after. And this is the first time in 2 years that we've had one. So, I mean, yeah.
Adam Healy watching the program. Maybe the only guy that could challenge John McAllister from a sharp look, well-dressed standpoint might be Adam Healy, who's come on this program right now. Adam, we love you.
Has he appeared on the I Love CVille show?
Oh, yeah. Adam Healy has come on the I Love CVille show and had very pointed commentary. Remember, Adam, about city officials that went viral online. We love Adam Healy in the I Love CVille network. He says, "Go, John, go."
We were neighbors. We used to live in the Belmont Lofts.
Yeah, Belmont Lofts.
On the same floor.
Adam Healy's great people, entrepreneur. Stephanie Scott, kids want instant gratification and bridge takes dedication, and it's very challenging but super fun. The best game ever. I will see you in Austin. John McAllister.
Yeah, Stephanie teaches bridge. She teaches beginners, so she's doing the yeoman's work.
So what is the epicenter of bridge? Like, I'm learning now. I'm so new to squash, which is another passion of yours, a month in. The epicenter of squash is like Philadelphia and the Northeast in America, okay? The epicenter of squash globally is Egypt, okay? Like, I was talking with our common friend Dean Russell this morning, and he said like 35% of the top 100 players in the world in squash are Egyptian, okay? Where's the epicenter of bridge in America, and where's the epicenter of bridge globally?
I mean, probably like New York City and Florida. Like we've said, bridge is played mostly by older people, and New York City, if you're a young bridge professional player, like Zach Grossack is one of the stars of Double Dummy. He graduated from Tufts a couple years ago. He moved to New York City because he can get a lot of work as a pro player. People hire him to play in the local bridge clubs, and then he gets clients for that, and then he gets clients for like regionals, which are bigger tournaments that like Charlottesville's had a couple of regionals, they're week long, and then the North American Bridge Championships is where they can really make a lot of money, and he'll be down in Austin, Texas on a team there's a sponsor. So bridge is kind of unusual. Like, a lot of people are used to poker where there is a cash prize if you do well, and there are a handful of bridge tournaments that have cash prizes, but in the United States, there's like even if we won the event, we would not earn a dime.
Really?
Yeah.
So what you're playing for the love?
I mean, I love bridge. Yeah. So I'm actually hiring teammates to play with me. So that's how professional bridge players make money. Is there's a sponsor who will pay them to play on their team.
Who are some of the sponsors?
Like Bill Gates, for example, plays bridge, and he's been at the last two Fall North NABCs.
Dude, what's Bill Gates like playing on the? Is it the bridge table? Is that the right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's Bill Gates at the bridge table?
So I've played against his teammates. Like, we played in the same event, and he was playing with Fred and Sherry, Fred Gittleman, and I can't think of what her last name is. Sherry. Anyway.
Okay. Super Sherry, we'll call her.
So I've heard a friend of mine played against him. It was in Honolulu in 2018, and I had breakfast with this guy the next day, and he said that he seemed like he knew what he was doing.
Really? I mean, I couldn't imagine anything else from Bill Gates. I mean, let's cut to the chase.
Well, yeah, but the thing that's interesting about Bill Gates...
Sherry Weinstock. People are putting that in the feed.
That's who it is.
See, the internet holds everybody accountable here. Sherry Weinstock. I didn't even have to look that up.
So the interesting thing about Bill Gates is, obviously his wealth is just, but he doesn't actually hire professional bridge players. Like, it's, I don't know that you would know anybody's name, like that they would have a common enough name that you would know them.
Okay, so let me throw this to you. So I like to gamble.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Bridge is a great gambling game.
Okay. I love to play poker. One of the best things that ever happened for poker is ESPN.
Yeah.
ESPN puts poker on television like constantly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anytime you're watching ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN News, you're seeing some kind of poker tourney.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes the sport go very mainstream.
Yeah.
And that makes, frankly, our generation and younger sprint to the sport, sprint to the mind sport. And now poker is catching this new wave of popularity.
Yeah.
Can that ever happen, do you think, with bridge? And why or why not?
I mean, the thing about poker is that you don't even necessarily have to be that good, and you can win. Like, and you can be competent. And you can have, like, the World Series of Poker. Chris Moneymaker won the World Series of Poker as an accountant, and he won $6 million or $8 million. Like, bridge is not, it's complicated. Like, it's not easy to teach. I've got some friends, some high school classmates who watched Double Dummy and wanted to learn after watching it. And I was on Zoom and BridgeBase on Monday night with them. And it's really challenging to explain. There's so many nuances. There's so many, like, different aspects to it, which is what makes it a great game. But you know, it was massively popular in the 1930s. There were supposedly more words written about bridge in the New York Times than World War II. So it was front page news regularly in the 1930s. But I don't know that, I feel like that moment has kind of gone. Like, there still will be people who love bridge. Like, I will play bridge. I mean, I'm just so fired up to go to this tournament.
I can tell. Like, your passion is contagious.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I sincerely mean that. Vanessa Parkhill watching the program. Bill Sanders says, please let John know I'm watching from Maui right now. Bill Sanders, hello. Brian Morris watching, I believe, in Alabama. Patricia Herrera Garcia-Dago, is that right? Patricia says,
I don't know how to say her last name, but she was just hosting a friend of mine from Charlottesville, Kelly Cox.
Patricia says, Mexico. What up, what up, what up? 14 states on the program right now in 2 countries. Watching Johnny Mack here on the I Love CVille show. All right, put together Vanessa Parkhill. Any questions for you, get priority. We love you, Vanessa, when you watch the program. Put a tournament in perspective. What's it like? So you're going to Austin to this tourney.
Yeah.
Is this like you're staying in the high roller suite? Is this like super deluxe food, sushi, steak dinners, champagne on ice?
No, it's pretty ordinary, really.
Okay.
I mean,
give me the flip book and make it colorful and dynamic.
The last one of these I played in was in San Francisco.
Okay.
And
San Fran is dope.
It was downtown at a Marriott.
Okay.
And the tournament had been there like 6 years before, and I played in it. And so I went to dinner one night with a friend of mine who lives in San Francisco, and he came back with me to check out the site, like to see what's going on. And he goes into the playing area, our teammates come out. They had finished. So we were on a 6-person team. So you need 4 people to play at any time. You can have 5 or 6 or 4. And so I had sat out because I was having dinner with my friend. I'd sat out the first of like 4 segments that night. And our teammates come out, 2 guys from Bulgaria, professional players who I had hired to come over for the event, who I met online. And Gates our teammates had played against Bill Gates. And I sat out to go to dinner with my friend, and my friend goes in and there's Bill Gates playing bridge.
Holy shit. So
yeah.
Is that your biggest bridge regret? You had a chance to sit at the table with Bill Gates. Instead, you chose to get a double cheeseburger from McDonald's and some French fries.
Well, we didn't go to McDonald's.
I just messed with you. I just messed with you. Does Bill Gates talk smack at the table?
No.
Are people talking smack at the table?
No. I mean, yeah, for sure. Like, it depends on the game, you know? Like, if you and I were playing, obviously there'd be smack talk. Like when we were playing squash yesterday, and you were sort of getting it handed to you.
That's true. That is true. He did. I will be very straightforward. He did beat me like a drum yesterday. That window is narrowing very quickly. And Brian wants me to correct him. He's watching in New Orleans and not Alabama.
Okay, Brian and I went to Woodbury Forest together.
He's in the Big Easy right now. Stephanie, if you won money in bridge, maybe, but it's not set up that way. You win master's points. You play this game because you love it. There's always something to learn. You will never get bored playing this game. Patricia, The best game in the world by far. There are 16 states on our heat map watching John McAllister right now on the I Love CVille show. This is the power of social media when used for the good, guys, and not for divisive purposes. If you want to give the guys some props, put it in the feed. Twitter, I'm going to get to you in a matter of moments. Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, I'll get to you in a matter of moments. All right, so I learned this. So you clearly see that I'm loving, I've become quickly addicted to squash. And I'm pouring like a lot of time into it, much like you have with bridge. Okay?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I learned from Dean, who's a squash pro at MacArthur, that the top squash players in the world, like one of my favorite guys is Paul Cole.
Oh yeah.
Paul Cole's a baller.
He came here.
Yeah, I
he
heard.
was here.
I know, I missed it. I wish I was into the sport then. I believe he played the Colombian cannonball, Mr. Rodriguez. Paul Cole did. So here's what I'm throwing to you is the top squash players in the world. We're talking like top 5. They're making a few $100,000 a year.
Oh yeah. Sure.
And like any other profession, if you are top in the world at your field, you're making considerably more than that. That's just the nature of being top in your field.
Yeah.
Squash, that's not the case. Is that similar with bridge?
I mean, I think the best pair in the world, arguably over the last 25, 30 years, is two Americans named Jeff Mextroth and Eric Rodwell. And I think that they charge like $10,000 for a regional tournament.
Okay.
That's a week long.
Okay.
And then the nationals, I don't know. I have no idea.
So what's Johnny Mac doing when he's opening up the checkbook and hiring teammates to play?
I'm not hiring Meckwell.
Okay. So can I ask what that runs, or do you want to stay away from that?
I mean,
you can plead the fifth here if you'd like.
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, so Tom Carmichael is the coach of the youth team in our film.
Okay.
And he's a little bit more expensive than our other teammate, but no, I'm not going to say.
Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair. Tammy Leone, welcome to the broadcast. She's giving you some props right now. So the tournament, how long it lasts, how much sleep you're getting. Do we have side bets on the line here? A hell of a lot of prop bets. I mean, is there action left and right? I grew up as a very competitive pool player, traveling to tournaments up and down the East Coast. I'm talking like 12, 13, 14, 15 with my dad. And I was very mesmerized and drawn into, and then that's when they stopped taking me to these tournaments, side action and the prop bets. People were playing for a purse, but the real action was like in the green room before or after the tournament or at late nights. Is that similar to bridge, or is that not the case?
So I'll actually travel, or I used to travel to New York City every so often to play Bridge for Money.
Uh-huh.
And on a good day, I could make like $5,000.
That's
and
legit.
On a bad day, I could lose that much.
Okay.
And at the tournament itself, the one that I'm going to tomorrow, I mean, I think there are people like that have side bets. Like the funny thing about bridge is that it has a reputation as being a game played mostly by older women. Mm-hmm. But like, and not that older women aren't cool, but like some of the coolest people I know are bridge players.
Okay.
Like, I mean,
give me a cool person story that's a bridge player. Come on, like paint the picture, baby.
Yeah,
you're a wordsmith. You're a wordsmith.
I mean, I'm thinking about. Okay, so I don't know how to convey it though in a way like one of the cool things about this tournament is we'll all be playing duplicated hands. So everybody will be playing the same deal in a lot of the events. So like I can go up to my friend who's, you know, like Adam Grossack, who's in Double Dummy. I can go up to, he's a professional player now. I can go up to Adam and be like, hey, what'd you do? Like, say we're sitting in the same seat. So we're going to have the exact same cards. We're going to have to make the same decisions. And I can go up and say, hey, what did you do on this deal? And we can be there. We could talk for like 20 minutes about like why you decided to play the ace of diamonds versus the jack of diamonds. I mean, it's just like, I guess I would say it's a fascinating like I'll go to a bridge tournament and lose weight and not do any exercise just because I'm thinking. Yeah, because I'm thinking so much about what what's going on the deal. And
James Whitaker says this is awesome. He's watching in Los Angeles, California right now. James Whitaker, what up? Welcome to the program. Thank you for watching the show. If you guys want to give Johnny Mac some props, just put it in the feed. I will relay it live on air. You have 16 states and 3 countries watching you right now on this program. I'll throw this to you here. And I got to get to what I think is one of the dopest Facebook cover photos I have ever seen. You on your Facebook page here. It looks like you next to like Martin Scorsese's brother. Okay, I want to get to that in a matter of moments. But before I do, John, I'm going to cut to the chase here. I think you're a cool dude. Okay, I like your positive energy. I think you got enjoy chatting with you. I haven't known you that long. When you go, you're a single guy, right?
Yeah.
You're a single guy.
Yeah.
So when you're you like Continental Divide.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like margaritas at Continental Divide.
I don't drink them. I don't. I mean, I will have one.
Okay, so you like the burritos at Continental Divide.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're there for the social. Mm-hmm. You go to Continental Divide and you meet somebody you're interested in.
Yeah.
Do you say I'm a professional bridge player?
Oh.
Or do you say
I'm not a professional bridge player?
Or do you say I'm a filmmaker?
Yeah.
Or do you say I'm retired?
No, definitely not that. I say that I'm distributing. I mean, yeah, I'll say I'll say I met somebody at Continental Divide the last time I was there at the bar, a young woman. Gosh, what was her name? Lizzie.
I don't know. Okay.
And she asked me how I was doing, and I was having a rough day.
Okay.
And so I told her that, and we ended up having a really nice connection. And I think I told her that I was distributing a documentary movie that I produced.
Okay. And did she not think that was super cool? I mean, I think that is super cool. You're a filmmaker.
Yeah, it definitely sounds cool.
That's a hell of an icebreaker.
I mean, it sounds good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I was reading online one of the articles. It might have been in Keswick Life or somewhere else.
Yeah.
I took a deep dive to prepare for this interview. I hope you can tell that. I'm going to utilize some of the stuff. James Whitaker says John is crushing it right now. James, he is freaking crushing it right now. LA in the house right now. And I took a deep dive to not only prepare for this interview, but to eventually utilize the information from that deep dive to get in your heads psychologically on the squash courts. Okay, I just want to let you know. Anyway, the deep dive, you said in one of the articles I was reading, depending on how you're feeling that day, is how you will introduce who you're speaking with, what you're due for a living.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
Sometimes you'll say that you're a documentarian or an executive producer.
I would say I produced a documentary movie.
Okay, that's how you would say it?
Yeah.
So 9 times out of 10, is that what you would say?
Well, people don't ask, I guess what they say, what do you do? I think that's kind of like the most common way of asking.
Isn't that a common question?
Yeah, so I would say, now I'm saying I'm distributing a documentary movie that I produced.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you how did the brain trust come together to make the movie?
Well, Derek Sieg is like one of my oldest friends from St. Anne's Belfield. I think we were in nursery school.
One of the guys behind Common House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was
Let me tag Derek on the show here.
Okay.
He should see you on the program right now. Keep going.
So, I mean, he was literally he made a scripted film that my sister Chris, who you know, produced.
Yeah.
And so this was when he was raising money for
Chris Burrow.
A project called
She's awesome.
Hot Air.
Okay.
Which was filmed. Was it? No, it was filmed in Austin actually. So he and Jeremy were writing partners, and they were about to make this other movie, and I sort of. We decided to make Double Dummy first.
And you guys are in the Vision Room. I don't know the exact words here.
We were at the Downtown Grill. Okay. We were at the Downtown Grill. They were buying me dinner because I had contributed to their Kickstarter for this movie film project, Hot Air. And so they wanted to thank me for that. And so literally Jeremy said, this sounds like a documentary movie. I had just quit my job at QIM. I was ready to I didn't know what I was going to do. I think that, I got back from Memphis for the tournament, and I love golf. That's another one of my passions. And I had gone to Farmington that morning on, a Monday at, 10 o'clock in the morning. There was nobody there. I was like, this sucks. And so I was ready, like I wanted to do something with bridge, and it came along. Jeremy said that sounds like a documentary, and that was what I needed.
So John, I want to get some clarity here. You quit your job.
Yeah.
And arguably one of the top hedge funds out there.
Yeah.
And you say, I'm going to piece out of this gig.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go into the bridge world.
I knew
and be a documentarian.
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Okay. So I left QIM and I said they had a goodbye lunch for me, and I said I want to do something more with bridge. Okay. That was what I said.
Okay. And because you knew that was your passion.
And one of the things that I realized at that tournament, I played with this kid who was a UVA student. I hired him to play as my partner.
Okay.
And when he would talk about the deals that we had played, it was just like the types of inferences that he was making and the things he was spotting was like so far over my head that I realized if I just played bridge that I'd be really frustrated because I needed time to learn the game. Like it'd be interesting to go back 9 years because this was in 2012. It'd be interesting to go back 9 years now and like see what my bridge brain would comprehend. Like I'd be able to understand a lot better what he was saying.
Spencer Grayson, watching in Naples, Florida. Okay? He has this. Spencer says this from Naples, Florida. And guys, we're streaming on every social media platform, 15 Facebook pages, 15 Twitter accounts, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. If you want to give Johnny Mac some props, just put it in the feed. Spencer says this. I grew up playing bridge with my family. Would love to get my children into bridge, especially my son who's super competitive. Does your guest, Jerry, have any suggestions for junior bridge, tournaments, leagues, or getting the next generation more involved? And like you said, away from screens. How does he suggest we go about doing this?
So there's a program called BridgeWiz, which just launched. They have, 700 kids right now that are taking lessons weekly virtually. When I talked about how the pandemic had improved bridge teaching, this program, we did a screening with the ACBL Educational Foundation, which is running the program. So that's going to be ongoing, but his son, I would keep an eye out for BridgeWiz, and also
so what's BridgeWiz?
BridgeWiz.
Are you the seed money behind BridgeWiz?
No. No. BridgeWiz is just it's a virtual way to learn the game with kids that they're doing online.
That's cool.
I mean, it's cool because I've been like at this for 9 years, and it's cool because it's a place where I can tell my friends, or I did tell my friends. The program started on October 25th. So I said, look, if you're interested in learning bridge, check out this program. And it was free. It's 20 weeks. The model before was like you had to go to a school, you had to get permission from the school, you had to show up at the school. This scales a lot better because then you're just sort of at a little bit of the whim of the school. That's a hard process. You have to show up with all your gear. Virtual has been a big improvement in terms of, at least for the adult experience.
We're about to show you guys the best Facebook cover photo I've ever seen. Judah Wickhauer's got that ready to go. Before we do, more comments coming in. This is from Leslie McDonald, who's watching in Richmond, Virginia. We have a ton of viewers in Richmond because of the proximity to Charlottesville and a lot of UVA alumni in Richmond. And Leslie McDonald says, Jerry, I'm really enjoying the interview. I know nothing about bridge, but as you know, I watch the show almost daily. Please ask your guest if bridge is a club sport like chess has become at the collegiate level. And if it's not, what do we need to do to get it to that point?
Okay, so you mentioned Tammy Leon. She's in Mexico. She is taking a gap year. And she was named the Queen of Bridge, which goes to like a high school senior every year. She was named the Queen of Bridge, and so I'm actually recruiting Tammy to come to UVA.
So she's watching
start a bridge because we don't have a bridge club at UVA right now. It's really it takes like one student who loves the game to make it happen. And
let me do this. This guy is a very persuasive, charming individual, John McAllister. Let's get a one shot on Johnny Mac over here. Okay, look at this guy smiling. Look at those dimples over there. This guy's a sharp-dressed, cool guy right here. Tammy Leon, are you still watching the program in Mexico? Are you still watching the program, Tammy Leon? Give her the best elevator pitch to Tammy Leon in Mexico to come and do this.
Well, I need to pitch the Jefferson Scholars to give her a scholarship. That's the pitch that I need to make because she needs full financial aid, and UVA doesn't offer that for out of country because we're a state school. But like Georgia Tech, for example, they have 4 bridge teams in the collegiate championships. There are schools that have bridge programs, and UVA has a rich tradition of bridge playing. But right now, we don't have it going on.
What are the follow-up questions here? Diane Evans-Ripko, welcome to the program. Dan Wagner is watching the program in New Mexico, and he says, which colleges or universities prioritize bridge more than others?
Well,
This is going way better than I thought it would.
Georgia Tech. So Georgia Tech has an academic advisor for the program called, his name is Giorgio Casanovi.
Okay,
and
that's a great name.
Giorgio, we have a $1 bet. I bet him that in 10 years UVA would win the collegiate championship.
Wow.
Which
what year is the 10-year?
I don't know. I'd have to go back to my email to check. But Patty Tucker, who we feature in Double Dummy, she's from Atlanta. She started at Atlanta Junior Bridge, which has produced a lot of young people who are in the junior program that we feature in Double Dummy. So Patty is like the coach, I guess, for the program. And they literally had 4 teams in the collegiate championships. Most schools just have 1 team. Like we interviewed this kid named Andrew Roberg on the Setting Trick podcast, which frankly, if you're not a bridge player, you might not enjoy. Like I've heard from non-players that listen to it, they're kind of like,
well, they're enjoying this podcast.
Well,
and we're talking bridge.
But it's not like we go in more deep in like technical stuff.
Gotcha.
So, but there's a kid named Andrew Roberg who went to the University of California, Santa Barbara, and they didn't have a bridge club there. He started it. He's a good player, and they won the collegiate championship a couple of years later. So it really takes just one person who's a student who's into the game.
Multiple people saying Patty is awesome.
There you go.
Multiple people. You're getting props from Norwalk, Connecticut, and Jeff Goldman watching the program right now. Norwalk, Connecticut, hello in the house. 17 states and 3 countries watching Johnny Mack right now on the I Love CVille show with more questions coming in. This is a great question here. So one of the things we're trying to do here, which obviously you see, is we're humanizing and personalizing and localizing a game that is complicated, right?
Yeah.
In bridge.
Yeah.
And we're making it approachable.
Yeah.
And the viewers and listeners are responding.
Yeah.
So Stephanie Coppinger is watching the program right now in South Carolina. And she says, can you ask your guests what card game is most similar to bridge I've never played before?
So this is one thing I was going to say to the gentleman from Florida who asked about his Naples,
Yeah.
who asked about his child.
Yeah.
I would start them on other trick-taking games like Hearts. Like that's the game that I love to play. I still play it with my parents. I still play it with friends. It's a trick-taking game. Bridge is a trick-taking game. So like the simplest trick-taking game is War. Like basically you play a card, I play a card, high card wins. That's how bridge works, but spades is also kind of similar, except spades are always trump, and bridge, any suit can be trumps.
I love spades. I love hearts. Did you ever play the card game Spit?
Yes, and I forget how.
Spit's a great one too. I love playing Spit. I just love competition in all forms. All right, we'll get to a couple more questions here. This is going very, very well. John McAllister is doing a hell of a job. Do you have that photo ready to rock and roll? Okay, I'm going to show you guys what I think is one of the coolest photos I have seen ever on Facebook. And I sincerely mean this. Tell me when that photo is live on screen. Thumbs up from the director, Judah Wickau. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Everybody look at the screen right now, please. Look at the screen. This is Johnny Mack's Facebook photo. Leave it on screen, please. You are looking in admiration over to an individual that is dressed like a 1965 mafioso. He's got the glasses that seem to change in color depending on where he's at from a sunlight standpoint, a phenomenal black pocket square, a white sports coat, and a collar with his black button down that is popped up, almost as if he's a St. Anne's Belfield graduate meets a Baccarat player from South Beach, Florida. Okay. Who is this? Is this Martin Scorsese's brother that you're sitting there with?
So that's Zia Mahmood.
Who is that?
Zia Mahmood is one of the most well-known bridge players of all time.
Really?
He's a Pakistani. He's originally from Pakistan.
He looks like a pimp.
He lives in London, but he plays as an American for bridge. In the World Championships, the World Championships 3 out of every 4 years.
Man, people know who this is. They're saying his name on the feed right now.
For sure, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's in the bridge world. He's
like the Michael Jordan.
He's as famous as you. I don't know about. I mean, possibly like he. So the story here is my first bridge teacher was a woman named Shooky Neal, a local woman. She took me to the bridge club, and
Shooky Neal.
Shooky Neal.
That's a great name.
And Shooky was infatuated with Zia.
Okay.
And she would talk about Zia and I had never met him. So I went to the tournament in San Francisco my first year playing bridge. There's 3 North American Bridge Championships every year. This was the fall one. And my partner at the time, George Middleman, introduced me to Zia. And so I came home and I guess I told my mom about it and how that was really cool. And so my mom, for my birthday that next year, asked me if she could get in touch with Zia.
What?
So I said, yeah, sure. So
she got in touch with a Pakistani who's living in London that's the Michael Jordan of the mind sport.
I mean, Michael Jordan, I don't know, like Bob Hammond might be the Michael Jordan.
Okay,
Stephanie's father-in-law.
Is Zia the Kobe Bryant of the mind sport? I mean, you're a sports fan here.
Maybe like
the LeBron James of the mind sport?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Zia's a great player. Like, he's one of the greatest players of all time. Like, I don't know how to. I mean, I love basketball
Stephanie said,
too.
well, my stepdad is the great Bob Hammond.
Yeah.
So
he's MJ.
Okay, he said Bob Hammond's the MJ. Okay.
Hammond is MJ.
Okay, we got to be careful here. We got bridge players watching.
But so anyway, I got Zia's email address from my mom. And she sent Zia an email, and she said, my son really enjoyed meeting you. He was really excited about it. And would you play with him? And, she was offering to pay him to play with me. And he said, well, actually, it would be my pleasure. I would love to play with him, and you don't have to pay me to do it. So I ended up going to a tournament in France, in Biarritz, and I played with Zia for 3 days. And it was amazing. I mean, we would go after dinner, we would go to a restaurant and we would talk about every single deal with this other great player who was there, Boya Brogland. We've been friends ever since. I mean, so that photo was from that trip.
This photo is awesome. Janet Knight is watching from
you.
Rapture on the downtown mall. We love you, Janet Knight. I love seeing you at Rapture, Janet. What is Zia like? I mean, because this dude looks like a pimp, like such a cool guy. I mean, he looks like Martin Scorsese spent a little time at the tanning bed, and that any restaurant he goes to, he's got swag, man.
I just hope he's going to be in Austin. I'm not sure if he's coming from London or
Is the Austin tournament big time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like we call the North American Bridge Championships. We call them nationals.
Okay.
And the nationals are, I mean, at least since I've been playing, they're as competitive, probably more competitive than a world championship. Like, you get the best players from all over the world coming to play. Obviously, this tournament is going to be different because I don't know. I don't know. People from Europe, from Asia, are they going to be able to come? I'm excited to find out.
John, have you ever heard this before, my friend? Living is easy, man. You got like a charmed life over there.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, have you heard that before?
I've definitely heard that before.
A charmed life.
I've definitely heard that before.
I mean, it's the time of gratitude and thanks here. Put it in perspective, John McAllister. Please. Put it in. I mean, you enjoy every day waking up, don't you?
I don't necessarily. I mean, life can be more challenging than that. Like, yes, I do live a charmed life, and it looks that way on the outside, but I wouldn't say that that's always the case.
Okay.
I mean, I was psyched today. I mean, obviously, I'm going to this tournament tomorrow. Like, I am fired up for that. I was excited about this opportunity.
Thank you for squeezing us in with the schedule.
You know, you wanted to play squash this morning at 9:45, and that was I put my foot down on that one.
I know. Well, you beat me like a drum yesterday. You probably were thinking I got nothing left to prove here.
I mean, I am kind of thinking that.
Oh, I really hope you're not. That's why I got to continue to improve. So how long are you spending in Austin?
I'll be there from tomorrow until the 6th.
Damn, of December?
Yeah, it's 10 days.
Wait till you see what happens in 10 days when I come back.
Okay.
All right, why don't we close with some of the things here? What else do you like to do besides bridge? Friends, family, what else do you like to do?
Well, I love to play golf.
Yeah? Scratch golfer?
No, not quite. I will get there.
What are you, single-digit handicap?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are we talking?
I'm
4
like
or
a
5?
high 2.8, I think, is my index.
Favorite places to play?
Well, Marcella's husband, Will, is a member at an amazing course called National Golf Links of America, which I've played a few times.
Will Fauché?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that your favorite?
That's my favorite, yeah.
Okay, what is Lee Hughes watching the program? Lee, I believe this is 2 shows this week that you've caught. One of our favorite commercial brokers, Lee Hughes, he says, "What's up, Johnny Mac?"
Lee and I played softball. We met through our playing softball together.
Have you ever seen Lee shoot a basketball? His jumper is wet, dude. That dude can
I don't know.
a jump shot.
No, I think I have played hoops with Lee. I don't remember it.
And his son is a hell of a baseball player too.
Yeah.
Dude, seriously.
Henry?
Yeah. Dude is, and Lee, a diehard UVA fan, Celtics fan, and I'll say this, Lee, just an all-around good guy as well. Favorite golf course you've never visited that you want to visit and play?
I mean, obviously Augusta.
Yeah, right? Isn't that everybody?
And Pine Valley, I've never been there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What is it about squash you love?
Well, I used to play a lot of pickup basketball for exercise and enjoyment, and it's just not that efficient of use of time. Like, if you get there at the right time and you're winning, it's great. But squash...
because you're saying winners stay on.
Yeah.
And you were sitting on the sidelines a lot. Just messing with it.
But squash is efficient. I just started playing because my old boss got really into it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I play it as much as anything, really.
Is it Michael Rimstead?
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Where's he watching?
Well, I think he's in New York right now.
He says, "You still have never beat me in golf, FYI. You might get the chance, though." You got something you got to zing back for Michael?
I mean, we were talking about getting together in Austin early to play golf, but it didn't happen. I mean, I'd love to. I think we played one time in Orlando, but it wasn't necessarily. I think you did beat me, actually. So, I mean, obviously, you have an open invitation to come to Charlottesville. He lives in Stockholm. Michael does, but he's visiting his sister before he goes to the Nationals.
All right. Well, why don't we do this? I love the conversation that's happening here on social media. I very much enjoy doing the show. I like chatting with people like you. You know,
Thank you.
like all around good people. I ask this question often on the program.
Yeah.
You obviously love Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Charlottesville area. Me too.
Yeah.
If there were a few places besides Charlottesville that you would move to, what would they be and why?
Man, that's a tough question. I actually thought about moving to San Diego a couple years ago.
San Diego's dope.
I really liked a little coastal town called Del Mar.
Yeah, I know Del Mar.
I was out there for a golf school, and
the man lives a charmed life.
I remember going into Del Mar. I just kind of happened upon it, and there were all these people out on the beach. They were playing volleyball, and I was like, "That looks really cool."
Okay.
So I went and tried it out, but it didn't take.
How long did you live there?
I mean, I literally lived there. I was there for 2 weeks.
You gave it a 2-week chance?
Look, so the fall NABC in 2017 was in San Diego.
Okay.
And so then I just went to Del Mar after for like 2 weeks. I did an Airbnb, and I don't necessarily want to.
Okay, we'll leave it right there. We'll leave it alone. Bobby Spellman, hello. Bobby Spellman, welcome to the program. Believe watching in Charlottesville. Bobby says spades is more like bridge than hearts is. Heather says spades is good if you're learning. Zia is whoever in sports doesn't stop talking. That's what somebody else said. Is that true? Is Zia a trash talker?
Yeah.
Yeah? How do you trash talk bridge?
I mean, I remember when I played in the tournament and Biarritz as his partner, where sometimes they'll give you your score on a deal after it's played on the little computer where you enter the score in, and we would get like a 40% on a hand out of 100, like 100's best, and he'd be like, "We got a total 0," and I'm like, it was sort of deflating because I'm like, man, that he's just, I don't know, he's a vociferous person.
Good word. Good use of that word. Dude, I thoroughly enjoyed this. We're an hour in. I promised you 30 minutes to 45 minutes. It was fun. You are legit and super fun. Final words, closing thoughts? It's the time of giving thanks. You don't have to go down that road if you don't want to.
Well, I just want to say that I remember, so we met, like you said, at the MacArthur Squash Center recently. And it was maybe the second time I ran into you over there, and you called me Johnny Mac.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that. I was like, that's cool that he's calling me Johnny Mac. So I'm grateful to you.
Thank you.
For your friendship, for pushing me at squash. We had our second game yesterday. You won 15-13. And so squash, you play to 11, but you have to win by 2. And I was trying my hardest in that game.
You're being nice right now.
I was trying my hardest in that game, and you beat me, and that was like shit. So
thank you for saying that. That was very kind. Olivia Branch watching the program. Olivia, who's just Miss Charlottesville. I love Olivia Branch. She said John rocks, and she says #killing it right now. Dude, why don't we close on this? You got a lot of friends, man.
Thank you.
You got a lot of friends. And who says this? You can judge a man or a woman by the amount of friends they have. And also, friends are the family you choose. Friends are the family you pick. And from what I can tell by everybody that's watching here, you're well loved, you're well liked, and just beloved. And I'm grateful for you coming on the program. I look forward to seeing you around the block. And get ready for this. You're back the 7th?
6th.
You're back the 6th?
Yeah.
Get ready for some text messages from me to play some squash on the 6th, because I've been thinking nothing else besides you beating me like a drum on the squash courts yesterday. John McAllister, thank you, my friend, for joining us on the program.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure.
So, guys, that's the program. You see what we try to do here. We just try to showcase the best of Charlottesville and Central Virginia on this network, and we do it in positive and fun and like high-energy fashion. Like the whole premise of the show is that. We are taking, obviously, tomorrow off and Friday off to spend some time with family and friends and loved ones. And then we're back on Monday in the saddle, and we're going to commit ourselves and recharge after this 4-day weekend to taking the show and the network to yet another level of commitment and a level of dynamic that I think you guys will appreciate. Thank you for joining us today. Enjoy Thanksgiving, and realize any day above the mud is just a great day to be alive. For Judah, for John, I'm Jerry, and this is the I Love CVille show. You guys have a good one. Take care. Dude, you killed it. You absolutely killed it. Was that fun?
Yeah, definitely.